Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the New Thought service of Sunday, October 17th. We are so happy to be back here on the Lanai New Thought Center of Hawaii in Keala. My name is Pasha McGregor. I'm the facilitator this morning, and we have Kumu Keala Ching, who's wearing two hats. He's both our presenter and our musician. And we're going to start out the service this morning with a reading from Science of Mind magazine. And I'm going to ask Margie Bourgeois to come forward to do that.
The reading this morning is Subtle Transformation, and it's a very good reading. We can do nothing that does not affect other people, no matter how loudly we say, "It's my own business." And that's from Madeline Lee and Engel. Fear and faith are identical in that the energy used in the one is the same energy as that used in the other. Since there is but one final energy in the universe, and this final energy is the energy of thought. Fear is a positive acceptance that you shall experience that which you dislike. Faith is a positive acceptance that you shall experience that which you do like, but they are identical in their mental action. The only difference is in the direction. You should be careful not to fight fear too much, but rather through a sort of flexible imagination, convert fear into faith, realizing that it is a mental attitude. You can do this very easily. Looking at the thing you fear and examining the thought of fear you have about it, convert this thought into one of faith, realizing that the energy of fear converted into faith will produce an effect exactly opposite. If you will look at the thing you are afraid of until you really understand it, it will no longer have any element of fear for you. You can do this in such degree as you are conscious of being divinely guided and protected, and state your realization of this in a definite manner. Love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. It is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. And that's from Effective Prayer. I'm going to read the affirmation and have everyone respond after I'm breaking it into two parts. I enter into the faith of believing. I enter into the faith of believing. The joy of knowing and the act of living. The joy of knowing and the act of living.
Thank you, Margie. Those words were actually the essay. It's actually the words of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is both the founder of the religious science movement and the first editor of that magazine, which was first published in 1927. So take a minute to just reflect on those words, let it sort of sink in, and then I'll signify with the little chimes when to bring your awareness back. Hello again. Um, so I'm going to ask Kumu for a song at this point.
Aloha. Gonna share a song about aloha. And aloha means many, 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 many things. Of course, our immediate thought is love. And it is aloha kamea iho olai. It is love that brings healing. But it's also the formation of love. And that's being gentle, having gentleness in the form of really being prepared, being related, finding relationships, being very prepared, and the truth, and being humble and patience. Ke aloha ka mea iho ola ai. E a ka hai e nā Hawaii, e lo kahi ka mana kahi kolu, o ia I o ko kulani. E haaha I ke alo, o ke akua, e aho nui e. O ke aloha ka mea I hola ai. O ke aloha ka mea I hola ai. O ke aloha ka mea I hola ai. Ke aloha ka mea iho ola ai, a song that was written by my mentor, Kawai Kapu Okalani Hewitt. So mahalo nui and aloha.
All right. As I told Kumu by email previously, it's a special Sunday. It's always a special Sunday, any Sunday that Kumu is our guest. But it's even more special this Sunday because we're able to be back on our lanai. The last time we were here was September 5th. So it's been more than a month of our recess. And fortunately, the Delta variant seems to be receding. So we're looking forward to many more Sundays here and being able to gradually resume more of our functions of New Thought Center. So thank you all for being here this morning. You know, I'm grateful for Zoom. I'm grateful for YouTube, but there's something about actual human beings gathering together in a beautiful place. You just can't beat it. So it's my role to sort of introduce New Thought Center as an entity. We aren't able to pass the handheld mic yet to have each of you introduce yourself, but at least our collective, our New Thought Center of Hawaii, I can briefly introduce that. As most of you know, we recently passed our 50th anniversary. It was September 22nd, and that was the date on which the church, which was sort of the root church, that we trace our roots to this religious science church, which was incorporated on that day in 1971. Now, if a person turns 50, from my point of view, that's pretty young. It's not, I mean, it's like, yeah, barely middle aged. But when a relationship turns 50, which is my husband Rob and I celebrated our 50th anniversary here on this lanai in in 2017, then that's considered kind of a big deal. And New Thought turning 50, to me, that's even more of a miracle because we haven't even had a minister since the mid 80s. And two of our basic principles appear to be contradictory because, on the one hand, we value community. We call ourselves a multi faith spiritual community. On the other hand, we celebrate individuality. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary of aloha for the nourishment, development, and evolution of each individual's unique spiritual path. So, how are all these unique individuals going to come together to form a community? You could almost call it the Church of the Holy Paradox. And yet, here we are. Something must work because we're starting our second half century. And maybe it's because it's not boring. Anyway, thank you for coming together so this really is our first in-person meeting of this second half century, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're part of history. So thank you all for being here. And the next thing I see on the program is another song or chant, your choice, Kumu. And then we'll have a time to share miracles and ordinaries following that.
All right. So I'll share a chant, bringing us into the location, honoring our mountain, the location of our north uh, district. Of course, at one specific time, the north district of Kona was called Ahualono, and Ahualono is a altar or a place of peace. And then we have the south Kona, which is called the Palilua, in a lot of the writings and history. So in the chant, it talks about these areas. So and bring us to this location. Iahu ino ke ola o lau kalaniku kila kila. E o mai lau ino ka opua ke au loloa, ke au uli uli, ke au pano pano. I ukau ino ka mauna o hualalai, ka wahine o la o kona. E ia ho ino kona noho ana ke aloha o hawa iloa. I ke ola o ana i o malu ka palau aku ana i awalo no i pu hau. O pu hau a palilu a ka hewai kaula na mauna. Ho I maila I ke kai ma oki oki kai ma lino lino. I awahi o pu hau. I uka ho ino I awahi ku ana o haleki. Kana ue ue ku ana I kalu kalu. E iau ino mako makani kau ku ana I awahi hale e o la ho ino mako no ko ko e no hume aloha aloha la ola.
Eola. Mahalo.
You're welcome. Mahalo.
So the miracles and ordinaries are um, defined in various ways. One definition I like is it's the special happenings in our lives that bring us insights, and they're miracles because they're kind of unexpected. They remind us of truth. Sometimes they change us, and yet they're ordinary because they happen in the midst of our daily lives. They're the stuff of our daily lives, and the lessons are there for us to serve us right now. So if you have something of that nature that you'd like to share, I invite you to come up and speak into this microphone. Since multiple people are using it, if you could please keep your mask on. The mask muffles, but the microphone amplifies.
Aloha.
Aloha.
It's just wonderful to be back on the island. I've been gone for almost 6 months. It's a miracle that all my weed whippers and lawnmowers started again. Okay. And it's just a miracle how much everything grows. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and it's so good to get back in the ocean. And, you know, the Aloha spirit is still here.
I am grateful to be alive because I have had a savage seizure. And when I woke up from a seizure, it's indescribable. That rest, 3 days rest, absolute rest. And it gave me a lot of perspective. And Maria has had one of those adventures when she was out for a week, and I was out for 3 days. But when I woke up, it was strange. I had absolute rest. I don't remember anything from the seizure. Thank goodness. Which leads to why new thought is important. I look at new thought as my only chance not to be alone. I'm a loner. I fly over Hawaii, I'm a loner. And it's good for me to be with people. A loner. Each person is a loner. Each person has a group of people. I should be more sociable. That's why I'm standing here. When we came to Hawaii with Master Subramanya, there was householders on this island, and his temple is being built and still being built on Kauai. But I learned something about Hawaii that I had never realized before. Just 2 days ago. The Hawaiian archipelago is the farthest distance from all 7 continents. So if you feel alone, take the opportunity when you're feeling alone to meditate and seek the tabernacle inside. Turn it around. Turn it around. Around. Take the opportunity to be alone. You can meditate. And like on Sunday, rest. Try rest. The farthest archipelago from all 7 continents. I'm going to correct that. They've decided that the South Pole is a continent to there are 8 continents, and the farthest archipelago. That means we can meditate. I started my journey in 1500 BC. And I went west, young man, go west. And all my brothers and sisters had gone east, traveling across the Hawaiian Ocean. And finally, I met home again. I started out in southern India, Sri Lanka, and I went west. There are various incarnations. I have met all of you before. So look between the lines of what I'm talking about. We have certain people who are spiritually, I don't know how to describe it, evolved. Everybody that's spiritually involved. Spirit is okay to have. It's not a bad word. It's not a bad word. And even though we're suffering, we can bring it to new life. I've run out of gas. Be well, be happy.
I'm having a miracle of the practical kind. About 7 years ago, I had one tooth in my mouth that was giving me a problem. And I didn't take care of it right away, so it became a really big problem. And it wound up costing me a bunch of money, $2,000 to $3,000 to fix it. And I wound up getting a root canal with a cap on it. So the only tooth in my mouth, all the rest of them are fantastic. So about a month ago, the cap came off. And I'm like, oh no, now what? So I went to my dentist and thinking, okay, they can just glue it back on, right? No problem. Okay, well, that wasn't how it turned out. So not only did my dentist not treat me, but he sent me to somebody called an orthodontics. I don't know. I've never heard of it before. Anyway, I go see that guy, and then he tells me, which did not take my insurance, by the way, and he tells me, oh yeah, you need another root canal. We got to redo it. and it's $1,800. And I'm like, yeah, okay, next lifetime. Um, so I'm thinking, well, what can I do? Because I know I only have like about $800 in my dental account on my insurance, so that's not going to cut it. So then I have the presence of mind to call back and say, does the $1,800 include the new cap after you do the root canal? And he goes, oh, no, that's just for the root canal. And I'm like, what? So I know the cap is like around $1,200-$1,400, something like that to do. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, so what I need is about $2,000 or $3,000. Okay, Divine, you know what I need. Give it to me. And so I have a temporary cap, and I'm patiently waiting for Spirit to show up with something. And I get a phone call from what's come to be my medical concierge who lives on Maui. He's a really great guy, and whenever I have a medical issue, I call him, and he helps me sort stuff out. And he called me, and he said, hey, guess what? I got good news. And I said, what's that? And he says, in 2022, in 2022, your dental benefit's going to go to $3,000. Okay, thank you, God. You solved that problem. Now the only thing is to find a dentist that takes my insurance. Otherwise, I have to pay cash, which I can't do, which means I have to get a loan, which means I have to pay on the, So anyway, I am knowing that all of this is in Spirit's hands, and Spirit's going to bring me to the right place at the right time with the right stuff. And I learned something else that made me a little angry for about a minute and a half. And that was that Oahu has in their same insurance plan I have. But Oahu, because it's a different island, they have a different plan over there. And so they get that big dental stuff. They also get a debit card that allows them to purchase any kind of medicines or supplementals they want, or even food, healthy food. So you can use it, and they give you $150 a month for this. It's like, what? And I have been getting like $35 a month for that kind of thing, but not in a debit card. I have to go through them and buy it from them and get their brand and all that. So turns out that they finally realized that there was a huge inequity there. And so now they're giving the same benefits to everybody all over Hawaii, not just Oahu. So my blessing wasn't just my blessing, it was everybody's blessing. So I'm really excited. UHC rocks.
Well, thank you all for sharing your miracles, and practical and cosmic alike. So now I have the pleasure to officially introduce our speaker, Kumu Keala Ching. He's a Hawaiian cultural educator, a composer, a songwriter, and a kumu hula. He lives and breathes aloha into his Hawaiian heritage with his strong presence and great heart. He grew up on Oahu. He began his hula training as a dancer with the men of Waimapuna. In 1999, he became a practitioner of Ho'oponopono with Kupuna Malia Craver at Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center. He's a graduate of University of Hawaii Manoa with a degree in early childhood education and holds a master's in education from Chaminade University. And under the tutelage of Loya Frank Gavaika Okalani, I hope I got that right, Hewitt, Keala has spent many years learning and building his knowledge. He graduated in the Uniki rites to become a Kumu hula. He's fluent in the Hawaiian language, which he uses as the foundation for teaching his students of all ages, from young children to elders. Um, he serves as Kumu for several halau, including 2 in Japan and 1 in Switzerland. He's just back from a trip to Switzerland to visit that halau. I'm sure they were extremely glad to see him. He has taught keiki and served in other capacities for several schools in Kona. Currently, he works at Kona Middle School. He teaches Hawaiian language, and music. He's the co-founder and executive director of a foundation called Nawai Iwi Ola. And if you want to learn more about it, you can visit the website, www.nawaiiwiola.org. And that will be on the little blurb that goes with the YouTube of today's service. So if you're not sure how to spell it, you can find it there. Okay, so Kumu, take it away.
Mahalo nui. Aloha, everyone. I'm just so happy to be here. I wanted to take some time during the miracle and share a miracle, but then I decided, man, maybe it's my turn right after that. So I would like to share a miracle before I begin. What I like to share, I wanted to share about Kaulana Ki Aloha, which is part of the Keala magazine, at which I brought some. And if you haven't gotten them, they're at the stores. They're free, and it is a magazine that helps to communicate with our newcomers, our comers that are here, kama'aina, just many, many different stories. But I've been writing for Keola magazine for, I believe, 13, 14 years now. So it's really, really exciting to be able to share a chant every so often. But first, my miracle. So I was on my way to Switzerland, planning to go to Switzerland. And in a lot of my teachings, also with my kids up here at middle school, I always share with them that the idea is to prepare yourself. And in preparation, I always tell my students that every time I go to a hula event, they always want to put me right in the middle, right in front of the stage, right in the middle, because that would be the honor of being center middle. And I always tell the group, no, thank you. I do not want to sit there. And I said, but Kumu, you need to sit there. He goes, no, 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 no. I'll sit right here by the door. And my kids there would always say, Kumu, why would you be by the door? And I said, because when anything happens, I'm the first one by the door. And you need a clear mind person by the door to guide everybody out. So I want to be by the door. So I always share this story about being prepared, not being fearful, but being prepared. So when I get on the plane, they always ask me, would you like to sit in the exit row? And I said, absolutely. Can I have the row near the door? And they said, sure, Kumo. And so I sit by the door. Why? Because should the plane go down, I'll be by the door and telling everybody, hurry up, come on, get out, and then jumping down on the slide. So it's about being prepared. It's not really about being afraid. And this is what I was all the way up Switzerland trying to share with them about how to recognize fear as an opportunity to be prepared. So, talking about this is my miracle. So, as I was preparing for my trip, I personally couldn't see beyond my journey to Switzerland. So normally I see the next stage after Switzerland. I see that I'm heading to either to Oahu, or I see myself in a dream heading to Kauai, or I see myself in my dream working with kids. But as I was preparing, I couldn't see myself beyond that. So I was a little prepared, and I was preparing to the point where I was about to call my mother and say, Mom, these are all my accounts, these are all my passwords, and these is everything where it's all at. And this is being prepared. It's not being afraid, it's being prepared. So if anything should have happened, because I couldn't see myself beyond this trip of Switzerland. And it was actually on that day, Tuesday, that I was about to get on my plane. I had another meeting. I had two meetings in the morning. And one of my meetings, we went down to a vacant lot down by Ali Drive, and at which I had an evening last night to stay at this vacant lot. It's so beautiful. After meeting with that gentleman at that vacant lot, I could see myself bringing children and people to learn about this beautiful site there near Ali Drive. So I could see that. And so when I met with my next appointment, and she's from the health center, and I sat down with her and I said, I have to tell you something. And she said, what? And I said, up until an hour before you arrived, I didn't see myself returning to Hawaii. And she was like, what are you talking about, Kumu? What are you talking about? And I goes, no, 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 no. It's about being prepared. I was about to go and write my mom and tell my mom, Mom, this is all the accounts. This is where you find everything. So I was going to prepare myself and send that. But up until an hour before you arrive, I could see myself and I could see what was going to happen. So I was ready. I got on the plane, flew all the way to Switzerland, feeling prepared. But then I started to feel my blood pressure. And I asked my student if she had a blood pressure monitor. And so she said, yes, Kumu. So we put the blood pressure monitor on. And I told her, this one does not work. And she said, no, Kumu, we've been using it. And I said, okay. So we put it on. Blood pressure was 215 over 170. So I said, this blood pressure machine does not work. I need a bigger cuff. And she goes, no, Kumu, this is the largest cuff. I goes, no, 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 no. I need a larger cuff. And so we went down to the pharmacy and I said, just ask them for a large cuff. All right, Kumu. So they said, do you have a larger cuff? Yes, we do. Okay, we put it on. So we said, can you take his temperature? And I said, yes. So I sat down, tried to relax. With the large cuff, it came up to 180 over 120. So by this time, I was freaking out. Because remember, I was like, okay, wait. What's going on? I need to get home. I didn't send my mom all my accounts. I didn't send her all my passwords. What's going on? And so I started to really begin to prepare myself. And good thing my doctor, she prescribed just 50 milligrams of my blood pressure pill. But before I left, she said, Kumu, maybe you should take two. So 100 milligrams. So knowing that, I began to take 100 milligrams just to help to bring the blood pressure down. At the same time, I could feel something in my body that wasn't working so right. And so I said, okay, I need to go to a doctor that can take my blood, take some blood and check out to see if any of the organs are working. So, of course, I get to the doctor. I could tell he's nervous. I'm not sure why he's nervous because I'm the one that's nervous. I need to check my blood pressure. And he's asking me all my questions. I got all my pills in my bag, and just so happened, one of my bottles broke open and it spilled all over in my bag. So in meditation, active meditation, he was just shooting the question. I said, yes, it's fine. Putting back my pills. Yes, I'm doing good. Putting back all my pills, feeling it. Okay, now I need you on that table. Okay. So I finished, put my pills away, and I said, okay, looking at this doctor, and I said, you need this arm. I goes, where you're standing, you're gonna get this arm. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you're right." So he moves out of the way. I'm turning so I can give him my arm. And so he was able to take the measurements, and the measurements was 180 over 100. So he tried both arms. So it was consistent. So I said, okay, that's my measurement, 180 over 100. So I need to try and get it lower than that. So by this time, he's figuring out why my blood pressure, because we took my blood test, everything was all perfect, numbers were good. So I said, all right, but my blood pressure was still up on the high. Then after I finished all my work there, I was on Thursday. It was about the last day here at Kona in the middle, because I was working both sides, working over there and working over here, preparing the kids, getting their work all upline and everything for the kids. And on Thursday, I took my blood pressure and it came out to 130 over 95. So I was like, yes, I'm going to go home. Because I said I didn't want my parents to fly all the way up to have to put me in a box and fly me all the way back. And I know my student wouldn't be able to put me in the box and fly me back. So I said, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that everything is working out. And I am here to share with you at New Thought Center. So mahalo nui for allowing me to share my miracle. It's so wonderful to be here. What I'm going to talk about is the piece that I wrote in Keala magazine. And in the piece, it talks about how famous Aloha is. And I decided to write the piece because we were going through some times on our islands that many of us that see this as home and really protect this location that we call home. And that's all of us that really care for the land, really care for our ocean. And having that pause, that 2 year pause, we all could see the vibrancy and the brilliance of the ocean that it came back, the beauty of the mountains, that everything was just untouched. It was just really nice. And then to see the craziness once everything was open, with travelers coming in by the groves, just flooding in. And, at the time I was like, just chill out, just wait it out. Let them come. It's almost like stay in your home. They're going to ravish our land no matter what we tell them. They're going to do what they need to do, and then they're going to leave. And I said, a lot of them are not coming to learn about culture. That's not this type of travelers. And they said, Kumu, what are you talking about? I said, these type of travelers are the ones that got all their stimulus money, put them all away. And then as soon as these places opened up, they used all their money to fly because all the rooms were cheap, all their airlines were cheap, no cars. But these are the travelers that never would travel. They would never travel, but they had an opportunity. And when they come, they're not here to allow Hawaii to change them like many of us have been. When you come to Hawaii, it's not you that change Hawaii, it's Hawaii that changes you and your mentality. Well, these type of travelers weren't that. They were just here wanting a drink. I paid this. I need that. I wanted to be on the beach. I don't care who's around me. So it's a different type of visitors that came. And I was sitting at home and I said, just hold on tight. And then the governor goes up and makes an announcement to tell all the visitors not to come. And I wanted to say that was the most stupidest idea to say, don't come. The idea is that travelers are going to trickle down. They're going to slow down. It's going to slow. But to say, don't come. So now what's happening is all the counties are now begging visitors to come back. And I'm like, you folks should have thought of this in the beginning, that we needed to prepare how we do not need to depend on tourism, but we need to find other venues, other industries that can help. But to say to these visitors, don't come, that was crazy. And so now, listening to all the county mayors figuring out what kind of monies they're going to put in to now invite all these visitors back, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So in my chant, I talk about how, it's about really sharing what aloha is all about. And aloha goes beyond just love, hello, and goodbye. Aloha really talks about how to be gentle. And you're talking about a society that is so blinded by being gentle. There is no relationship to wanting to be gentle. I demand this, I demand that, I demand to be here. And gentleness, they never heard of it before. So, how do we share that? I goes, well, our islands were given a gift, and the gift is aloha. And this gift of aloha talks about how to be gentle, how to be respectful, how to be connected. Yeah, what is our lokahi? Our lokahi is our relationship. What is our relationship to the spirit? Yeah, whoever he, she, it, or may be to you, what is your relationship to them? Because if we were able to share that values on the plane, I think we would get more people more respectful and understanding that these turtles are just not turtles. These turtles are ancestors of our people. And so, would you do the same thing to your ancestors by causing these hurtful things to these turtles? And most importantly, how do you connect with the elements? And then the O is truthfulness. Oya I o. And then Tutupali Pilahipaki, she shares about how to be olu. Olu is pleasant. And then when you see all these news and all these writings of people just getting so ugly, it's like they don't know. Just let them go. Let them be ugly. Because if you're going to be ugly, you're going to be uglier. And I said, no, 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 no. Just let it go. Because they're going to go back to where they need and they're going to be depressed. Let it go. And that's what the chant is talking about, how we need to be very humble. Humble by saying, yes, this is what's here. And we recognize that we need to bring it back to its vibrancy. And then ahonui. Ahonui is patience. Coming to Hawaii, you learn what patience is. Why? Because there's a long line of cars and all they need to go is just one turn off over there, but you're patient. This is your time to look at all the beautiful trees, all the colors that's around on the road. And that's what Ahonui is about, being patient. You have to find a different mindset versus always being angry, fearful. Yeah, you have to find that different mindset on really connecting to what is really out there, the beauty and the abundancy. And this is what aloha is all about. So in the magazine, it says, Kaulana ki aloha o ki aina, which means aloha is very, very famous of this land. Ke ia aina, of this land, not only Hawaii, but throughout the whole entire state. It is very famous. Something really struck a kupuna, an elder, really bad. She said, I didn't know that we had 9 islands. And on the radio they say, oh yeah, we're here at the ninth island. And we're like, what ninth island are you talking about? Well, they call it Vegas. And then say, I don't think they have aloha there, other than those that are from here. They are the one that has this aloha. So aloha is truly not about the ninth island. It's about the 8 islands that's here. And this aloha is very, very famous in this land. And then it says aloha aku, aloha mai, which means you can only give what you have. Meaning, if you wanted to give $1, you only have a quarter in your hand. That's all you can give. Which means if you only know that aloha is love, goodbye, and hello, then that's all you understand aloha to be. But if you go deeper in the sense of aloha, aloha is gentleness. Yeah. Aloha is relationship. Aloha is being pleasant with truth. Aloha is being very humble. And aloha is having so much patience. So when you have all of these active behaviors, then you truly understand what aloha is. So when people ask me, "Oh, where's the aloha spirit?" and goes, "You saw it because that's all you know. You only know what you saw." I goes, "That's the aloha spirit, but you don't see the aloha spirit that I know." And he goes, "How do you know that?" I goes, "I live it. I'm here. This is my island." So in the verse it says, "He aloha pale na ole." I hear so many things about having unconditional love. I goes, again, you cannot understand unconditional love unless you have it. If you don't have it, then there's no way. You can say the words, and the words absolutely means the word. That's it. But it's the action. The action is what's so important. So in the chant it says, He aloha pale na ole. Yeah, punike ola, surrounding all of us, that we have unconditional love that surrounds us. And this is what's so important. And we know that because those of us that give, we give unconditionally. And we don't expect anything, but it comes back. It comes back in many ways. And so the line has a tag, and the tag says, He aloha nui. This is big love. No, because of you. Because of you, which is the islands, this is something that is really large. And then the line says, Aloha e, aloha la, aloha o keia aina. This is that type of love. We give love, love will come back some other way. And it is the love of this land. This is the gentleness, the relationship, the truth, the humbleness, and the patience that is a part of what this land is all about. So when we say we come and visit, it's not us that change the land, it's the land that begins to change us. It slows us down. Yeah. It helps us to just calm down. Yeah. And it helps us to really humble ourselves and know that, oh, no, too many people over there. I'm going to go over here. Yeah. Let them enjoy their busyness. Let me go over here on this side. Yeah, it's not about telling, hey, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be over there. No. Just be patient. We have lots and lots of time. And this is what Ahonui is all about. So that is our first verse. And I'm not quite sure if it's going to be a dance or if it's going to be a song, but it'll come out somehow. And then the second, it says, Hei ini. Yeah, Hei ini ke aloha. We always, if we don't know what aloha is, we always have this deep desire, this deep wanting to find out what aloha is all about. And we try to really find individuals that are walking aloha, not talking aloha. Because there's two different. You have ones that's talking it, and then later on you see them down on the road doing something else. Is like, whoa. What? You just talked about aloha, and what was all of that? Yeah, so you want to really look into those that are walking aloha, walking being gentle, walking having a relationship, walking in truth, walking being very humble and very patient. Those are the ones that you want to really seek and find out. Then it says, Lokahi aku, lokahi mai. You find that relationship by giving a part of who you are. And as you give a part of who you are, it always comes back. This is that relationship, that connection that is really important here in Hawaii. And then it says onipa'a. Onipa'a is to like just move side to side, shake yourself as if you're in on the sand, the sandy beach, and you just put your feet there. And as the water comes, you just move yourself, and your feet just gets deeper and deeper into the sand. That's onipa'a. Onipa is to stand firm. Stand firm in this aloha. Yeah, once you know it, stand firm in aloha and ku kekanaka, which means stand as a person that you are able to know. Even if you see these people, totally disregarding safety, disregarding everything, just stand in aloha. We can only take care of ourselves and not worry about others because these others are the ones that's making us more upset, and then they're actually getting into the core of our healing and then getting us sick. Yeah. So in this, just say, no, worry about them. Worry about you. Oni pa'a. And this is why I like how Pasha was sharing about New Thought Center, about how we honor everyone's individuality, individual spirituality, but we come together as a group. That's part of what I train for Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a group effort, but what I train is self Ho'oponopono. Self Ho'oponopono is you need to know yourself first. And as you understand yourself, collectively, everybody understands each other. And respectfully, everybody is respectfully in understanding each other. So I teach self Ho'oponopono first before I teach Ho'oponopono as a group. Because if you don't know self Ho'oponopono as a group, then you cannot do self Ho'oponopono. Yeah, so you have to know self Ho'oponopono in order to do group Ho'oponopono, which is really, really interesting. Now, Ho'oponopono is always making what is right, right. And that's very, very important. But you only can make what is right, right for yourself. You cannot make everybody right. You only got to do what is right for you. And as you do what is right for you, then you are able to help the group, which is very similar to what New Thought is doing. And this is why it works and it will continue to work because of the respect of everyone's spirituality. And as a collective group, we respect each other. And that's what Ho'oponopono, making what is right, right, is all about. And so this is what Onipa'a is sharing. We have to be firm in ourselves before we can go and help others. And if we can understand that, then aloha will be able to go on beyond your individual self. And then in the next verse it says, ku ha'a ha'a, to be very, very humble. Yeah. Although you want to get involved and get in there and tell them, put on your mask, what you doing, 6 feet, this, you want to get in there. I goes, but I know they understand, but I know that they're doing it because they want to just get in the nerves of everybody that is on one side. And that's what's really driving everybody nuts. So I was like, oh, before I left to Switzerland, I said, this has to stop. And I said, what has to stop is the key of vaccination and non vaccination. And this is wrong. And I said, what needs to happen is we have to go back to the basic fundamentals of humanity, being human, knowing the respect of each other. Yeah, I remember people saying, oh, Kumu, I would hug you, but I'm feeling a little sick. I goes, that's the truth. All right. So why didn't we do the same thing? Oh, Kumu, I would hug you, but I'm not vaccinated. That's the truth. Then it's up to me to say, just come. I will hug you. It's not a problem. But don't just come and hug and then later on say, I'm not vaccinated. No, where's the respect to that whole piece? And I said, we have to understand that we are all humans. And if we can really come back to the core of being humans, that we all bleed the same way, our bodies are so flowing the same way, and some choose not to be vaccinated. That's good for you. And some of us are vaccinated, and that's good for us. That's what we decide. But in my presentation up in Europe, I said I would appreciate you if you are not vaccinated to just know that I would love to hug you and I would love to embrace you, but I have to go home to Hawaii And Hawaii is a very small island, and we do not have a large hospital. And I have to teach kupuna. And I said, so I would appreciate, and coming from Hawaii, we like hug everybody. And I would love to hug everybody. I goes, but I'm not sure if you're vaccinated, because I am. And so this is why it's very, very important that on a human level, we respect each other. And then, we can see, because prior to this whole discussion, a woman that was not vaccinated, we asked her to drive me to the event. So they said to me, Kumu, make sure you put your mask on. And I said, that's what we have to do. We just have to protect ourselves. And this is what it says we only can do for ourselves. We cannot worry about everybody else. I said, okay. So I put my mask on, walked to the car, and she, without her mask, said, Kumu, give me a hug. And I was like, oh boy. And so I hugged her. It wasn't, long. It was just a huge, quick hug, and I let it go. So we were in the car. She was without her mask, and we were all masked up. So, this is how we can get along. It's okay. So nothing was talked about vaccination or non-vaccinated until I went in front of the entire audience, and I shared with them. We all have to be on a human level to understand and respect each other, that it's okay. If you don't want to be vaccinated, that's fine. I goes, but honor my space as well. Don't put your space and your belief upon me, and I'm not going to put your minds upon you. I goes, but we can get along. So after all of that, after everybody left, he goes, is Kumu vaccinated? Because it sounded like he wasn't vaccinated. And I said, no, 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 I am. I goes, in order to travel, I wanted to be vaccinated. So that's the whole reason why I am vaccinated. And so understanding that we as Kanaka people have to stand and believe in what you believe, but know on a human level, we all have respect for each other and we all can connect with each other. And this is what's so, so important. And so in the line, it says, He kukui lama ole, which means there's this light that lights up, and it shines forever. And this light that shines forever is this protection, or this covering upon the land, because this is He Aloha Nui No E, for the life of this land is providing what this aloha is all about. And so in the last verse, it kind of wraps it all up. It wraps it that, puni ke ola, ke aloha, yeah, o ke ia aina nei. This is the oya i'o. This is the truth. The truth is what aloha is. Aloha is very, very famous. Yeah, kaulana ke aloha. Why? We give aloha, we share aloha, it comes back. And this aloha is unconditional. That is surrounding all of us, that is within us. This aloha nui is because of you, no e. So this is the mele, or the chant that I composed with Kaulana Ke Aloha, that I wanted to share with all of us on this beautiful Sunday, October 17th. But I just wanted to connect with the chant and the words, and how, this is one of the gifts that we have here in Hawaii Island, and that, or Hawaii State, and that gift is aloha. So much like the song that I shared earlier, o ke aloha ka mea iho ola ai, it is this gentleness, this relationship, the truth, the humbleness and patience that will always bring healing. On the opposite side, it says, o ka huhu ka mea iho ola ole ai, which means anger. Anger will never bring healing. So we take these steps, yeah, how to be gentle, and we find it on how we can begin to heal ourselves. And then the truth. How do we walk? How do we speak? How we recognize the truth, so that we are able to begin to heal ourselves. And then most importantly, patience. Having patience to make sure that we are able to heal ourselves. So at the bottom of the chant, it talks about how aloha, to be steadfast, to live aloha, and that is the gentleness, the unity, the truth, the humbleness, and the patience. And that's what brings the healing, all of these components. So mahalo nui, for allowing me to share. I would like to share the song that, again, I shared about aloha in the wrap up of my conversation. O ke aloha iho no na ke akua e ola mau. O ke aloha iho no na kahi kolu e ola mau. O ke aloha iho no na o iwi e ola mau. O ke aloha iho no na ewe e ola mau. E ola mau ke aloha, e ola mau ke aloha, e ola mau ke aloha, ke aloha iho no. Well, I thought I was going to sing the first Aloha song that I sang for you, but this is actually the second Aloha song. And when I started saying the word, it goes, this is not the same song. So I had to go with it. So this song was actually the song that I wrote. And it talks about how we need to recognize this gentleness, this relationship, this truthfulness, this humbleness and patience within ourselves. Once we're able to recognize that what is all within us, then we can share it with everyone. So again, mahalo nui, and for allowing me to be a part of your celebration here at New Thought. I like to say celebration because, we're all celebrating. Yes.
Before you put your mask back, so I was looking. By the way, I hope you all figured out it was page 9.
Oh, sorry. It's
But-
always around there.
Yeah,
7 or
there's
9.
a table. of
7, 8, or
contents.
9.
But are you gonna actually chant it for us?
Well, that's why I said I'm not sure if it's a chant, if it's a song. I'm not quite sure yet.
It's still
So
taking
it's still
form.
taking its form. So not quite sure. And I was thinking, yeah, maybe I'll just swing it. But I was like, no, I don't want to wing it. So
Okay, well
yeah.
then we're kind of part of the birth.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So maybe the next time
Absolutely.
you come, it will have.
Yeah, it would have had,
solidified.
some kind of solidification.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was so nice that a Kumuhula friend of mine in the Hilo district, he actually called me and he said, "Hey Kumu, we saw that you wrote this chant." I goes, "Do you have any air or any tune to the chant?" And I goes, "No, I don't." And I said, "But please use the chant and put your own air to it, and enjoy it. And he said, yes,
Oh,
I want to teach my students the kahiko, a hula dance. So I was like, I was really honored to have him call me and say, we would like to use your song. And I said, yes, please.
wow, that's
Yeah. So it'd be
interesting.
interesting to find out what his tune would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of maybe a
In the works.
cooperative
Yes. Yes. Yes.
effort.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you do get to do one more in a short time. I'm
Oh,
just going to talk
okay.
about the offering, and then you can do an offertory
All right.
for us. Um, so one of the so we are not finished celebrating our 50th. Just so we get clear on that. I mean, hey, if they could have the 2020 Olympics in the summer of 2021, we're not going to just cancel our celebration because of COVID. We'll just keep it going longer, probably throughout the whole next year. Um, so,
Why not?
but one of the things that we have been able to do is we this was one of the brainstorming or spirit storming ideas that came up, was to ask our elders, the founding members and the past presidents that have provided leadership for New Thought over the past 50 years, to ask them to share with us, and help us understand better our history. So we've had one founder, Virginia Halliday, and I think 3 elders have shared so far, Pomaikai and Elizabeth Terrio and myself. And there's one more, right? Who am I forgetting? Oh, maybe I'm counting Virginia. And those are available on YouTube. And even though I've been connected with New Thought for more than 40 of the 50 years, I still have been learning new things myself. So this is kind of a precious opportunity. And if we'd been able to just, do big party like we normally would have done, maybe we wouldn't have made it a priority to have these kind of more quiet conversations with our elders. So one of the streams in our history was, and the reason initially that we went independent was because we had wanted to hire a minister who was trained in the unity tradition, and the Religious Science Church didn't buy that. So that's when we became New Thought instead of Religious Science. It was Betty White who was trained in unity. So we had sort of a brief unity phase. The irony was that she was only with us for, I don't know, 3-4 years at most, and then we didn't have any more ministers, but oh well. So Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were kind of the founders of Unity, and I came across this collection of little statements from Charles Fillmore that are related to prosperity and generosity, and so I thought I'd share a couple of these with you as an intro to the offering. Okay, so it says, I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving, knowing that as I do, divine love bountifully supplies and increases substance to meet my every need. So may that be so for you. And we aren't passing our koa bowl yet, but as Kumu plays, you can come up one at a time and deposit something into the bowl.
Hey, aloha. Wait. Sorry. Kona. honoring our beautiful place of Kona as we all consider ourselves as malihini. A ia I Kona kai o pua I kala a o he lua e like ai me o a ia I Kona kai o pua I kala a o he lua e like ai me o malihini mako ia oe I Kona I ke kono a ke aloha no mako. Haina ia mai ana ka puana a o he lua e like ai me o haina ia mai ana ka puana a o he lua e like ai me o I Kona.
Up to the part of our service where we share announcements, and I'm going to invite you to go first, Kumu, if you have any classes or events that are coming up that would be available to people.
Well, I think right now we're just kind of coming to a close in many of the classes. So in about 2 weeks, we're gonna come back up with the first Hawaiian language class. This is Mondays. Again, in about 2 more weeks. This class begins at 6 o'clock on Mondays at the Outrigger Kona Resort. This is at the Aloha Center. And then I also have beginners hula class. That's an ongoing class. Sorry for the out of line, but it starts at 4 o'clock on Mondays at the Outrigger.
Is it the Sheraton or has it changed?
It's changed
Oh.
as of August 25th. The Sheraton transitioned. They were actually purchased by the Outrigger. The Outrigger Corporation. And so the Outrigger purchased the Sheraton. And so now the new hotel name is the Outrigger Kona. And
So it's the
Kona
same
Resort.
place, but
It's
a
the same
different
place.
name.
It's a different name, yeah.
Okay, that for old timers, it's like what used to be the Kona Surf long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Or the Kona Inn. Yeah. So yeah, Kona Surf, yes. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the Outrigger. And right now, because of the COVID, we're not doing any of our events that we normally have, would be in November.
Mhm.
But like you, we're not going to stop celebration. So like last year, we didn't do a big event, but I did a ceremony early in the morning for our November event. And then it'll still be early in the morning for the third week of November, honoring this event, honoring King David Kalakaua. So
Okay.
yeah. So mahalo nui.
Excellent. So for New Thought, so this is our first Sunday that we have had the in-person attendance option, and we hope to continue in that vein. So it's still available by YouTube for people who are in other places or choose to enjoy it from home or at a different time. And one thing is that's a little bit different. We are providing free childcare, but it's by request. So if you have children, grandchildren, neighbor children, whatever, feel free to bring them, but do, if possible, do the RSVP by Friday, just so that we can make our childcare. We have one family that has 2 teenagers that were formerly the recipients of childcare, and now they're providing it, but we need to let them know each week whether they're on duty or not. So the next 2 Sundays, on the 24th, we'll be welcoming Shelly Pearson. She's a certified past life and between life regression therapist. She's a snowbird, and she's part of the year on this island, but on the other side of the island. So she'll be coming over from Mountain View to be our speaker next week. And if there's sufficient interest, she will, at a later date, offer a workshop called Visiting the Past to Heal the Present. So she's not going to give that workshop next week, but she'll take signups to find out if there's enough interest to justify her coming back in a few weeks. The topic for next week is our free will impact to present and future. Music will be provided, harp music by Madhavi Infinity. The 31st, the last Sunday of October, we will have Bayana Vailele, also known as Heather Reynolds, speaking on designing human destiny by the stories we tell, with music by Mahina Saunders. She has previously presented more in her mermaid mode, but during the pandemic, she sort of dusted off her law degree, and so she's sort of, I think, integrating, and pondering, well, what is true justice, and what can we learn from Hawaiian traditions and other cultures. That'll be different and interesting. We are hoping to resume our produce giveaway on that Sunday, the 31st. Our board will be meeting this week, and we'll decide, what other functions are we able to resume and what the timing will be. I am quite optimistic about that because it's an outdoor event anyway, and the pre-service healing meditation, which we were doing the first Sunday of the month, that's a little more problematical because we do it in an indoor room. But stay tuned; it will be announced through the newsletter and the website when we're able to start doing that again. Volunteer opportunities. We need people for the 50th Jubilee Planning Group. As I mentioned, it's not too late. We've only just begun. And number 2, so we need someone with the right skills to recreate the New Thought Facebook page. And having that Facebook page up and running, it'll be good when we get into we're able to do more of the celebratory events. It'll be good to have that way of communicating. And Sunday service volunteers, such as greeters, setup, cleanup people, and thank you to those of you that helped in various ways today. And we'd like to have a coordinator for this monthly produce giveaway. I think that concludes our announcements. And we're going to finish with our closing song, Hawaii Aloha. We can't circle up, but we can stand up, and Kumu we have the one verse that we either all know or we can look at the placards all over the lanai, and then probably he will sing another verse or two that you can hum along.
E Hawaii e ku'one hanau e ku'uhome kula'irine olino au ina pono lani e Hawaii aloha e hau'oli e nā oki o Hawaii ne e oli mai nā ahe makani e pamai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii e ha'i mai kou mau kini lani o makupa aloha e Hawaii nā mea oli no ka ma'o no na mai e Hawaii aloha e hau'oli e nā oki o Hawaii ne e oli mai nā ahe makani e pamai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii nā ke akua e malama mai a o mau kua lono aloha nei o mau ka Hawaii o lino mau o mau mala uanani e hau'oli e nā oki o Hawaii ne e oli mai nā ahe makani e pamai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii mau ke aloha no Hawaii